Yeah, so today we're going to talk about working on this painting right here, or ink drawing. I don't know what to call it. Is painting with ink a painting, or is it inking? I don't really know. Maybe you know. But whatever it is, we're going to watch the process of this. Let's go. Alright, so we're here on my light table, and I'm about to move the digital sketch onto Bristol board. Not Bristol board, Bristol paper. I really like Bristol paper. It's good for ink. It's really smooth. And it can take water. Believe it or not, I do a lot of watercolor paintings on Bristol. And the end goal of this is to have a lot of wet and wet kind of water color ink effects, stuff like that. And I like to do all the drawing on just like trash paper or digital, so I'm not really damaging the good paper surface. So that's why I trace it on using my light box. And here's the steps. You can see the digital sketch was very bare bones, and I just added more detail. I'm much more comfortable with a real pencil in my hand. When you're going to use a lot of water, taping is a great way of going with things. I still haven't taken the tape off of this yet, and I probably should. I should probably do that at the end of this video. But this tape kind of helps prevent buckling, though you can see there's already some buckling. It's what happens. Sometimes you can get them really flat in the end, sometimes not. It probably would have been better to take the tape all the way to the edge, but I didn't do that. But yeah, I try to put the tape on as straight as I can. And why did I let this process go for so long in the video? I don't know. But we taping, that's for sure. But yeah, don't ask me what kind of tape this is. I just got it from work. I work at Raising Cane's. That's my other job. And they were going to throw this tape away. Who throws tape away? What? No, give that to me. I got so much stuff they've given to me from there. I don't know if this is in the screen, in the camera, but this is a toast rack they were going to throw away. I use this for recording and other things. No, you're not throwing it away. I'll take it. Tim will take it. Alright, so we are almost done taping here. I got a little fancy input tape up on the top. Doesn't really do anything, but I just decided to do it. Okay, here's the part I really wanted to talk about, these books. So, you see me pull out two books right here now. One is Jock. It's The Art of Jock. Let's go to the very first page. Why do I have tape on it? I don't know. There's the title page. The Art of Jock. So he's a comic book artist. I'm talking like he's dead. I don't think he's dead. I believe he's still alive. I feel like he's kind of unknown. I mean, clearly he's doing stuff. He's worked for big IPs, DC, Marvel, done some Wolverine stuff. I really love his like abstractions that he brings into his inking. That's what I was looking at. Him and Jim Lee. We're starting to ink now, but I feel like I could talk about this book a little bit. This Jim Lee book is insane. There's so many cool things in here. What I was really trying to channel was this. These Batman inks, and he's really inspired me with the way he works. He uses these gray washes. He builds up the form in specific areas and leaves a lot of melding values, especially on this Batman right here, if you can see pretty good. I use a lot of sticky notes for stuff. Got to keep track of all this stuff. But he uses whiteout for his white. So you'll see later that I use whiteout as well. There were some other things I showed in the actual recording, but that's kind of the basis of those. So back to what we're actually doing right now, what you're seeing. I kind of go into the lore a lot of this in the first video. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's the concept design of this character, of Valdar. And this is kind of his final arc. This image. He's decapitating the king of his clan. He kicked him out, killed his daughter, a lot of stuff. Again, go to video 1, it has it there. But this is the final trek for him, at least in this little story arc. Now this was a commission. I created all this lore just to spice it up. The person that wanted the commission just wanted like a Dragonborn Barbarian flying through the air with an axe. Well, I got that, but I wanted to push it to another level, add some story. I really like pushing story onto things. I think it's just so much better and funner for me to actually have more elements than just jumping through the air swinging an axe. You're seeing so far I've used 2 different types of brush pen, if you pick that up. What I have in my hand right now is the Pentel Pocket Brush. I like that one. It can give you a very thin to thick line, but mine's a little old, so I use it more to have a consistent line. And the previous brush, I should be picking it up again soon, is it's another Pentel brush. I forget what it's called, but Kim Jong-gi used it a lot. It's the one where you can squeeze ink into like a well that it has. So it's got its own little reservoir, which is very interesting. You can kind of use it for things when you run out of ink. Use it for dry brushing and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. But the pocket brush is amazing as well. I just love brush pens. There's just something about them that is just interesting. I like microns, but using a micron, it's always that consistent line. And sometimes you can alter the line, but with a brush pen you can really have control. Yeah, this is the pen right here. I don't know the name of it, but I like the idea that when that reservoir runs out, I could use that dry brush for specific things. And I've also unlocked that in a couple drawings after this. You're not going to see it in this video, but I've figured out an interesting way to use it. Hopefully I'll show it at some point in another video. Alright, so I've talked about the pens and stuff. Let's talk about what I'm actually doing. So I know that I'm going to use liquid ink to kind of paint this image, but I'm using these brush pens to get a foundation, the line art pretty much. Think of any line art with color process. It's very similar to this. So I got a lot of the blacks already down, some hatching, some cross hatching, some textural marks, but I'm trying to leave a lot of it for the stage that's coming up. So I bought a brand new thing of ink, and honestly I don't even remember what brand it is. I have it somewhere in here, but that glass jar you see, there's no ink in it. It all dried out. I tried to rehydrate it, but it's done. It's gone. So I was going to use that brand new ink, but I don't know why I made the decision to use this instead. some of this waterproof India ink by Blick. And it worked pretty well for me. So when you're working with liquid ink, you want to you have a couple options with using it. You can just use it straight black, right? Or you can dilute it with water and get specific stages of value. So that's what I did here. All right, so I'm wetting the entire canvas right now, and I'm just throwing a light value of gray down. I know later in this painting, or inkwork, whatever, I know I want to use whiteout and stuff like that to bring in some effects. So I wanted to start lightly darkening everything and kind of get it all misty and watercolory effect. I do this a lot in my watercolor work, which I don't think I've actually shown here on YouTube just yet, but I love working in watercolor. So you can't see the light gray in the background right now, but I know the stages that I want to do for each element, right? So if we think of Valdar as just one element, he's kind of mid-tone to dark tone. And then the king that's being decapitated is largely just dark tone. So there's a lot of white specks on there that I'm just going to dumb down, kind of darken down. And I really want to get this splatter from the neck, the head part. I really want to get that exploding out so you can feel it, right? So you can feel it. That's what I want. I know it's a slow process doing stuff like this, right? Like ink is a little bit quicker than color, but you're also working with water, right? So you have to dry it off like I'm doing there with my pink hair dryer. Okay, so what? Now I decided to use whites. So I have whiteout, white gouache, the Posca pen, the jelly roll, a Prismacolor color pencil. I think the only ones that I actually used was the colored pencil, the gel pen, the whiteout, and the Posca pen. So everything except for the gouache. So right now I'm just kind of adjusting things, right? Like I adjusted the darkness just slightly, and now I'm trying to get some of the effects that I want using the whiteout. It's kind of an interesting thing. It's like a little weird tip thing, as you can see right there. It creates interesting marks. I like that better than the pen. The pen I don't like at all. The whiteout pen is what I meant. I don't like that at all. Posca pen, amazing, beautiful. What I found is you can kind of like smudge it to kind of create like some transparency within the white. So you can use it kind of like a digital idea. You can use it over stuff but still see, transparency, right? And I'm trying to create this circle of effects around Valdar. So you got these white trailings from the swinging axe, and you also have this white seeping out of that alligator skull, crocodile skull. I don't know which one it is. You'd figure I'd know, but I don't know. It was one of them. But it's kind of seeping out of the eyes as well, and I wanted to create this little rhythm around him. And I tipped that into the crown to kind of show that he's taking control now. It's his time. Okay, so this is where I decided these whites were not strong enough, which is something I probably should have realized from the beginning. But as a semi-pro, relatively kind of not new, I went to school. I got my bachelor's in illustration, so whatever you want to consider me, I'm not a beginner, but I'm like intermediate, I guess. I should have known that if I want white to really stick out, I need to have darks, right? You have to have that contrast. And I just didn't do that in the beginning. So now you see me kind of mixing up some inks. This is just to make a darker value. And I have that little test paper. That's actually a sketchbook that I made. There's some Arches watercolor paper, some Bristol, some pastel paper, a lot of little things. And I was using some of the Bristol paper to test. Because it's good to test what you're using on the medium that you're using it on, right? Or on the paper or canvas, whatever. So I wanted to make sure I was testing it before I started using it, because I wanted this artwork to be awesome. So I made up this dark color, and right now I'm just darkening Valdar, right? Like, he's supposed to be mid-tone to dark tone, right? Some dark mid-tones. You know, kind of in that darker range is where he is. Alright, so yeah, I'm just going through now and just kind of giving everything a little bit of attention. And I would talk about the brushes that I'm using right now, but they are Walmart brushes, pretty much. Like, the flat is really just to kind of darken areas like it's doing right now. The round is actually a really good round. I don't know if I got it from Walmart or if somebody just gave it to me. I'm not quite for sure. But it's a good strong round. It doesn't come to an exact fine point, but that's why I use the brush pens, right? You see me moving that a lot. That's kind of a watercolor technique, right? You'll see some watercolor artists moving around their painting, letting the water move things and kind of work with that. And in some cases it can turn out amazing. In some cases it's hard, you could hardly tell. But it's always worth a try, especially when painting with water-based media like this. Oh, you see me using a micron. I was kind of not necessarily dogging micron earlier, but so my camera decided to stop recording my face, so I have to redo this section. But that's okay. That's the life of trying to be a content creator. Is that what I'm trying to do? I don't know. I feel like I'm more sharing my process and want more people to see my work. So if that's content creation, then yes, I guess. All right, starting the video. All right, so we're back in, and we're using the micron now, and a little bit of that gel pen. Micron is cool because you get a very consistent line, and you can alter the line slightly. You can get it like just a little thinner. You get a little play of that thin to thick, but I use it here mainly to just tighten up details that needed it. And now I'm going to use this ink to really bring in some more darks. Right, this piece has a lot of darks, but not in the proper places. Or should I say, the contrast is all over the place right now. So I'm going in and kind of fixing that at this point in time. And I really like using wet ink. I don't know, it feels... If I could walk around with an ink bottle and a brush and use that, I might use that more than my pocket brushes and stuff. Because you can kind of use it in a different way, you know? If you've ever done any watercolor painting or any ink painting like this or ink work, I don't know. We're still figuring that out, right? But you can control how much ink is in the brush, and you can make it have more ink, more water, less of it all, you can it opens up so many opportunities to use it, which is one thing I love. I love a tool or a way of working that can allow me to have different options. That's why digital is amazing. Of course, this is not a digital work here, but I do love doing digital. But I love doing watercolor and ink, right? Like this shirt, this is one of my shirts right here. Tidy Your Shit. It's all done in watercolor and ink. I wanted the watercolor to sing more, so that's why there's not as much ink. Okay, you're about to see something interesting. With the Posca pens, I found that you can kind of rub it to fade it out, almost get like a gradient in a way. And that can work well because it's transparent. It's a little opaque until it just kind of fades. As you can kind of see with what I did right there, that little tail end of that VFX. But I think it's an interesting technique. All right, so we're getting a little closer here. And this is me thinking that this is done. Right, it felt done. And even decided to sign it. But this is the importance of taking breaks, right? So I took a couple days break. I showed this to other alumni. Showed this to people much better than me. I showed this to regular non-art people. And I feel like I got the most insight from the non-art people. They couldn't quite tell me what it was, but they helped me pinpoint it because there was parts that felt a little lost, right? The chaoticness by the axe is a little unsure. Some people were reading the fabric as waves. So here's what I decided to do. I kind of darkened it overall, the image, highlighted it some areas kind of to make things pop more, try to clarify some things, and then knock back some things. And that's the final image, right? So here it is. Still haven't taken the tape off. I think it's pretty dope. What do you think? I don't know. But back to the shirt. I have no sponsor for this video because I got like maybe 100 subscribers at this point. So I'm my own sponsor. Creatures by Tim. I got shirts. I got prints. I'm working on some stickers right now. And I got some stuff on there. Go ahead and go check it out. Link in the description. And thank you so much for watching this video, sticking through with me. Feel free to subscribe. I'd really love it if you would like, comment. Tell me, is this a ink drawing or an ink painting? I don't know. Whatever it is, I had fun doing it. Have a good day.